Clearly he doesn't live in Austria anymore. He is in the studio a lot these days. Showed up for the kickoff. Here now at the PokerGO Cup.
The visa situation, you know, it's a thing.
Foxen certainly picking up her fair share of playable hands, but Davies also has one from the small blind and is going to get aggressive with it. Going to be in position after the flop. Certainly call here.
Plays it as a check here, Maria, sensing that this board texture is all over Foxen's open and then defend against the 3-bet range.
This is going to be pretty easily enticed to, of course, come along with top pair and a straight draw.
Check call of 175K, bringing the pot to $1 million. A very dry turn. Now this top pair is so vulnerable, Maria, with 2 spades and all that coordination on board. Do we size up to protect ourselves?
All in.
There are those 2 little words. A jam from Foxen.
7:30.
Call. And Davies does not make a meal of things. Calls rather quickly here, Maria. Are you surprised? All Foxen needs to do is dodge the 8 or king, and she's done it as the running 5s complete the board and complete a massive spin up for Foxen.
I mean, I think we need some verification.
They're called Mounties. Run out there and ask Foxen yourself if you'd like. I mean, she is a little bit busy.
Random-ish up, Ollie. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's true.
Sorry if that makes me not a good friend. But
it makes you a prudent friend. Meanwhile, Wilson defends with the ace-3, flops bottom pair here. A little tickle. Not enough to get out in front of these 2 10s for Foxen, who is white hot.
80,000.
flush possibilities, but here still going to call, hoping to turn to pair trips.
Well, he does turn 2 pair, technically, but an inferior 2 pair.
Queen X as well. Yeah, the bet flop check turn by Foxen does seem to signify that she has some decent showdown value as well.
Yeah, but doesn't want to bet the river, so does get knuckled down. Not simply talking about that big stack that she's assembled. Plays as a flat. Smothered diamonds for Smilkovic. May like the price, though. Note, by the way, Peter's ace of diamonds becomes so relevant in the event. Ace 10-4, not a diamond to be found, but second pair, the development for Foxen here in a bad way against top pair.
10 seconds. 10 seconds. Call.
There's the peel. In the face of that 120K C-bet, Smilkovic with the easy release. 635 in the middle now. Queen on the turn, now presenting Foxen with a gut shot.
In as a 3-bet pre, but certainly some of the weaker ace-X is the suited variety, of course, will be in there. The king jacks. Like, Peters has what he has, which is some of these weaker ace-X's, but is going to try to show down.
No. The check back there, Maria.
Maybe doesn't want to open himself up to perhaps a check shove, a check raise there. Foxen, suited jack. Defendable in the big blind.
Time extension.
Does still have the chip lead.
And a jack in the window. 10 and an ace behind it. Certainly enough for Foxen to continue, one would imagine, pending the sizing from Peters here. With 360 in the middle. Club on board is a nice addition.
Seems like a standard spot to take one off, but just not a whole lot of places to go with Jack Deuce, of course. No backdoor flush possibility, and still going to be trailing, of course, a lot of hands that Peters is going to be opening from the button and c-betting.
Well, that
Certainly a lot of bad river cards for Peters' hand.
400.
At 400.
hence the size up to 400K. We await Foxen's response, because obviously the inner skeptic in us when people size up tends to feel like, why so much? But
$140.
defending and turning into top pair here up against the Broadway Gutty and ace high. She checks back though. And is rewarded with the queen. So now Broadway for Kristen.
No, you could, of course, consider checking back here and trying to get one street of value on the river, but when she bets here, she's not going to expect
180.
a lot of these weak one-pair hands to continue, and Wilson with the disciplined fold with the four-liner out.
Up we go. And you would imagine if, you know, Kristen starts to get a little too up there in terms of VPIP or frequency with which she's opening pots, he may seek to wag a finger, as we saw him do earlier. Poorly timed, but with queen 3 offsuit. Meanwhile, here he is, bottom 2 up against top pair. Foxen's got problems.
Wow, it's kind of a dream spot, of course. It's so nice here. Wow, with the check back by Foxen. You know, it's so nice when you unblock top pair against the pre-flop aggressor. But so far,
Check.
Foxen may be looking to seek value, of course, from a lot of potential worse ace-X's, especially against a delayed c-bet.
10 seconds.
There is that delayed c-bet of 280,000, which Wilson calls, and on the river, the queen gives Foxen top 2.
What sizing you could get called by worse from? How big are you willing to go?
That's a lot of yellow chips.
650.
650.
They're very good hand.
Having what seems like a tough time coming up with many of them. Does pay it off though, Maria. Las Vegas Justice Court, I'll be pleading not guilty. Thus far here at this FT, Maria, and finds himself in the top 3, and with a dominant suited ace. Oh boy.
Wow.
Top 2 against aces and 5s.
Unbelievable.
$250. 10 seconds. Call.
Peter's gonna feign weakness here. Hoping some cards don't come off. That kills his action. So far, so good.
Yeah, clean looking 6.
Fuck.
$500K bet on the turn, again called by Peters. Another million into the middle.
And similarly for Foxen, of course, probably not a hand that she's going to be 3-betting pre and then firing on all streets. So inevitable that it gets in.
So the bet of 870. Asking for all of it. And Peters all too happy to indulge.
10 seconds. Raise to 140.
King Jack suited, making noise on the button. Wilson with ace-10 suited certainly had options. Plays it as a flat. And the luxury of doing this, of course, Maria, is that you can retain the raggier boards as yours. 60% of a royal. Plays it as a check back, though.
I love your optimism. 60% of a royal.
I
That's
just...
280.
Wilson starting to go for value with top pair.
Call.
$280. Bet and called, and on the river. Having played this one the way that Wilson did in the end, though. Credit given where credit was indeed due.
Now picking up a big one.
This is what she's been waiting for. Yeah, there's the jam. Snap call from Foxen, and obviously concerns immediate for Wilson, who has run into the jacks and some latitude. Meantime, ace 10-5. Jacks still safe.
What a nice 2. Pair the board.
All Foxen needs to do is fade a 9 on this river, and she will double up and take down 2.7 million, and she's done it.
Button. And Foxen wakes up with pocket 10s.
That she does.
1 million.
4xing the open up to 1 million.
1 million.
Here's Foxen.
Huh? Peters.
Oh boy.
Yeah, that was some real interest he had with the side eye there, and now we see he has a very strong hand, and you know, Wilson can certainly be opening from the button with a lot less than ace 10.
All in.
And Peters willing to put all players in.
Yeah, sheds Wilson, and Kristen already had committed so many chips. The rest were always going to come in a situation such as this. He doesn't know it, of course, but an ace is in the muck as well, hence the lack of one on this 9-6-4 board, where she sits with the overpair and poised to haul in 4 million and the chip lead. Jack on the turn is no harm. And Foxen simply needs to fade 6 outs one time. Tension. But a blank deuce of spades on the river. You know, $4 steak and eggs or whatever. I need Kessler to just open the vault. Meanwhile, Peters opening the pot on the button. Queen 7 suited makes it 300 to go. Foxen defends. King 5 suited. Flops herself a flush draw on the Queen 9-8 board. Peters with top pair.
We've seen Peters take this line before with the check back.
Facing club draw. Surely, Maria, now's the time as he checks back again.
Yeah, you know, you would think that with all of...
1 second. 450.
$1.15.
1.15.
So this 450K deployed at the absolute wrong time by Foxen. Not all, but plenty.
2050 and 110 is
That's why it was 120.
Looks like Wilson's going to make the call, and they're going to see a flop with Foxen having just slightly over that raise back.
Obviously, it's a little bit strange to get flatted. Not really what you have in mind, although a 2-spade board certainly will do the trick to get the rest of these chips into the middle. Or perhaps neither, Maria?
No, I think it's going one way or the other, and it looks like Wilson's going first.
And devastated is Brock to see ace-3 of spades. His flush draw, no good, and he is trailing. Only a queen or a 10 would spell disaster for the time being for Kristen Foxen. And if she were to hold here, Wilson would be down to just 725K. Open ender on the turn for Brock now as we add 9s and aces to the equation. Hubby Alex looking on. Thoughts of it's never easy swirling in his head, but
2 spades, I swear.
on the end,
750.
down to 12 bigs on the button. She rips a snap call from Peters with the suited ace. Suddenly, we're playing for all of it, Maria. 3.9 million in the middle. Peters, just shy of a 3-2 favorite. Alex Foxen looking on. Knows this 3.9 needs to head Kristen's way to keep this match alive. And it isn't looking good. 2 deuces, 2 hearts, and an ace. Runners required for Foxen. Can she find a sweat?
Let's have a sweat.
Well, Peters wants one.
Little heart. Nope.
And instead, it's a
Good
3
game.
of diamonds on the turn, which makes the river inconsequential. And just like that, David Peters, his 34th career heads-up victory